Imagine a world where the lights go out and never come back on. What if electricity ran out completely? The initial shock would be immense. Cities would plunge into darkness, and the hum of daily life would fade into silence. No more scrolling through social media or binge-watching favorite shows. People would quickly realize how dependent they are on electricity. Refrigerators would stop, spoiling food and leaving families scrambling for fresh supplies. Grocery stores would become chaotic as everyone rushes to grab non-perishable items. The simple act of cooking would transform into a challenge, with many turning to campfires or gas stoves, if they're lucky enough to have them. Transportation would take a hit too. With gas stations relying on electric pumps, filling up cars would become a distant memory. Public transport systems would grind to a halt, leaving people stranded. Imagine the rush hour chaos as everyone tries to find alternative ways to get to work or school. Bicycles and walking would become the new normal, and carpooling would see a resurgence. Communication would face a major setback. No more texting, calling, or video chatting. People would resort to handwritten notes or face-to-face conversations, which might not be all bad. Communities could strengthen as neighbors come together, sharing resources and ideas on how to adapt. Entertainment would take a drastic turn. With no streaming services or video games, people might rediscover the joy of board games, storytelling, or reading books. Families could gather around candlelight, sharing stories and laughter, creating a sense of togetherness that many have lost in the digital age. Healthcare would also be affected. Hospitals rely heavily on electricity for life-saving equipment. Without it, doctors and nurses would face unimaginable challenges. Emergency procedures would become more complicated, and the overall health of the population could decline without access to modern medicine. Education would shift dramatically. Schools would close, and students would have to adapt to learning in new ways. Homeschooling could become the norm, with parents taking on the role of teachers. Creativity would flourish as families find innovative ways to educate their children without technology. In this electricity-less world, people would need to adapt quickly. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind could become vital as communities seek alternatives. The reliance on fossil fuels might diminish, leading to a more sustainable way of living. Ultimately, while the initial chaos would be overwhelming, humanity has a remarkable ability to adapt. People would find ways to connect, create, and thrive, even in the darkest of times. The world might just emerge stronger, more resilient, and more connected than ever before.